The Holy Father will meet with Prime Minister Orban not long after he touches down on Friday. During his first day there, he will also meet the President of the Republic and local clergy. On Saturday, Pope Francis will be with the people, first visiting visually impaired children. Then he'll meet with those refugees I mentioned at the Church of St. Elizabeth of Hungary. Finally, the Pope will meet with young people at a sports arena where he will deliver a speech. On Sunday, the Holy Father will celebrate Mass at what is commonly known as Nation Square in the center of Budapest. He will then deliver his final speech of the trip to members of the cultural and academic world at the Faculty of Information Technology and Bionics at a Catholic university before heading back to Rome. Senior correspondent for Crux, Elise Allen, will be traveling with the Pope. She joins us now. Hi, Elise.
Hi, Christine.
So, Elise, Pope Francis visited Budapest in 2021 to close out the Eucharistic Congress, but he didn't stay to actually visit the country. Some saw that as a snub because of Hungary's tough line on migration. Do you think that was the case?
You know, it's a good question. The Pope was in Budapest for less than 10 hours. He was there for about 7 hours before moving on to Slovakia for a 3-day trip. So at the time, many people really did interpret this as kind of a snub or an insult to Hungary, and specifically to their Prime Minister, Viktor Orban, who has very differing views than the Pope, specifically on the issue of migration. I think at the time, many people really did interpret that as kind of the Pope giving him the cold shoulder. In 2021, he promised the Hungarians that he was going to return. So he's doing that. He's making good on that promise. But the question of why is he doing that so soon? You know, I think that really has a lot to do with the war in Ukraine. You know, Hungary is a very strategic place if the Pope wants to send a message. You know, it shares 85 miles of a border with Ukraine. It has taken in over 1 million Ukrainian refugees. And so this is really, if the Pope wants to send a message to Ukraine and to Russia, to both of them, and to make an appeal for peace, Hungary is really a very meaningful place to do that from. And so I think that's a lot of his motive for coming back right now.
Right, and the Pope is expected to meet with some of the Ukrainian refugees in Hungary. But while the Prime Minister, as you mentioned there, has taken in these refugees, he's refused to supply Ukraine with weapons. He was against EU sanctions towards Moscow. What will Francis's message be to him and also to the refugees?
Well, I think his message to the refugees is going to be very clearly one of comfort, one of consolation. He's going to be there as a pastor who is close to his people who are suffering. And when it comes to Viktor Orban, speaking of sanctions and you know, the hesitancy, the refusal to send weapons into Ukraine, you know, Pope Francis has been on the fence about that in the past. He has voiced doubt about whether that is an effective solution to the conflict. You know, so I think this might be one area where the two of them share more of an aligned view.
All right, and then the Cardinal of Hungary's Roman Catholic Church expects the visit to be just a celebration of Christian unity. The Pope's itinerary includes a stop at a Greek Catholic church that's cared for refugees, and you said this was a last-minute ad, right?
Yes, it was. We actually didn't find out that this was being added to his schedule until a couple of days ago when we were getting the formal briefing on the trip. You know, there are, you know, Hungary has a population of just under 10 million people, and the Vatican estimates that of those, about 5.6 million are Catholics. And that includes a strong community of about 300,000 strong of Greek Catholics. So he wants to offer a message of support, but he really also wants to send a clear message and plea for peace. And I think doing that with the Greek Catholic community from Hungary, you know, which shares the border with Ukraine, is going to send a very strong message.
Yes, a very significant trip. Elise Allen, senior correspondent for Crux. We'll check back in with you when you return. Safe travels.
Thank you, Christine.
Hi, I'm Christine Persichetti, anchor of Currents News. If you like what you saw, please hit the like button on this video. And if you want to see more content just like it, subscribe and click on the bell for notifications. Thanks for watching, because we are putting your faith in the news.